Number 1. The decimation of Merv Genghis Khan was born with the name Temujin in the mountains of northern Mongolia in 1162. He later founded the Mongol Empire, ruling from 1206 to 1227. In February 1221, Genghis Khan's forces laid siege to the city of Merv in modern-day Turkmenistan. When the people of Merv surrendered to the Mongols, the conquerors responded by virtually wiping the city off the map, murdering, pillaging, and wrecking the ancient metropolis. Khan was reported to have given himself a front-row seat for the mayhem at Merv. He sat on a golden throne and watched as men were dragged before him and executed. It was said to have been a memorable day for shrieking and weeping and wailing. The invaders tortured the wealthy citizens of Merv so they'd give up their money and jewels. One source puts the number of dead in the Merv massacre at 700,000, while a contemporary Persian chronicler estimated the number of corpses at a staggering 1.3 million. Khan apparently ordered each of his soldiers to kill at least 300 people. Number 2. The crime against the Oyrat Ogedei Khan, son of Genghis Khan, ruled as Khagan Emperor of the Mongol Empire from 1229 to 1241. Like his father, Ogedei loved war, sending the vast Mongol hordes thousands of miles in nearly every direction to fight and expand the empire. He was also responsible for an act that one historian has called one of the worst Mongol atrocities recorded. This was the mass rape of the Oyrat girls. In 1237, the Oyrat people, according to Persian chroniclers, failed to contribute the expected cohort of young women to the Mongol emperor's harem. A furious Ogedei decided to punish the Oyrat. He ordered that 4,000 Oyrat girls were to be repeatedly raped by his soldiers, and that the girls' families were forced to watch. 2 of the girls died, and the rest were distributed as sex slaves among the harem, merchant caravans, and the Mongol army. Number 3. The destruction of Baghdad Hulagu Khan, a grandson of Genghis Khan, led an army of perhaps 150,000 men to Baghdad, the capital of the mighty Abbasid Empire in modern-day Iraq. The Mongol forces, which included Chinese siege engineers, captured the city on 10th of February 1258. The victors poured into the city and began a week of carnage, inflicting on the residents a campaign of pillaging, raping, torture, and murder. One contemporary account reported that 800,000 were killed during the siege of Baghdad and its aftermath. However, this source also says that this number does not include those who drowned, children thrown in the mud, or those dying from disease, hunger, and fear. Some sources even go as high as 2 million for the total number of dead, though the true figure is not known. The Baghdad destroyed in 1258 was the city of the Islamic Golden Age, resplendent with grand libraries, palaces, and mosques, a center of learning for centuries. One chronicle says that the Tigris River ran black with the ink from the books of the destroyed House of Wisdom and red with the blood of murdered philosophers and scientists. Number 4. The annihilation of Nishapur. The siege of Nishapur, modern-day Iran, in April 1221 was bloody and fierce. A huge Mongol army attacked the city, hurling hundreds of fireballs, 250,000 large stones, and much more at the defenses. Nishapur finally fell, and bloody house-to-house fighting ensued inside the city. Survivors were, like every other resident of Nishapur, beheaded after being pulled from underground hiding places, mounds of rubble, and piles of bodies. The Mongols made 3 mountains of skulls from those they'd beheaded at Nishapur, 1 pyramid each for men, women, and children. Genghis Khan had been clear to his commanders that he wanted nothing in Nishapur to survive, so even the city's dogs, cats, and vermin were exterminated. 400 skilled workers were lucky enough to be spared, but all of the remaining 170,000 population of Nishapur were massacred. Number 5. The brutal funeral procession of Genghis Khan. In August 1227, Genghis Khan died. It is said that the mighty warlord had stipulated that his burial place was to remain a secret. Marco Polo, the famous Venetian explorer who served as an envoy for the Mongol Emperor Kublai Khan in the 1270s and 1280s, told the sinister story of Genghis' funeral. According to this version of events, 2,000 slaves that worked on burying the late emperor were butchered by their guards, who in turn were cut down by the 2nd Unit of Infantry. These soldiers then made their way through the countryside, away from the burial place, and murdered everyone who saw them, so that no trace of their presence or witnesses to their route was left. This final group of men then committed suicide when they returned to their base. Modern experts have concluded that the most likely location of Genghis Khan's grave is in the area of the Mongol sacred mountain, Burkhan Khaldun, in the far north of Mongolia. Number 6. The terrible treasure hunt at Termez. In 1220, Mongol forces sacked the ancient city of Termez in modern-day Uzbekistan. According to legend, a local woman pleaded with the Mongol invaders to spare her life, saying that she had swallowed pearls. Her captors duly sliced her open and retrieved the precious gemstones. This prompted an order by the Mongol commander that the corpse of every citizen of Termez was to be disemboweled, believing it would yield similar riches. Number 7. The Massacre of Otrar. In 1219, after Inalchuk, governor of the city of Otrar in modern-day Kazakhstan, had severely provoked Genghis Khan, the Mongol emperor led a vast army to invade the Khwarezmian Empire and lay siege to Otrar. After 5 months, the oasis town was captured. The Mongols executed Inalchuk by having molten silver poured down his neck. Some accounts say it was poured into his ears and eyes. The fighters defending Otrar were all killed, and the entire population of the city was brought out onto the plain by the victorious Mongols. Every one of them, numbering about $100,000, was put to the sword. Number 8. Sacks of severed ears. At the Battle of Legnica in modern-day Poland in April 1241, the Mongols were said to have counted the number of dead European foes by cutting the right ear off of every enemy corpse. The severed ears reportedly filled 9 large sacks. This macabre method of battlefield data collection by the Mongols also may have happened in Bulgaria and Russia around the same time. There, according to some sources, the number of bloodied trophy ears was in the thousands.